let us all do we can to build a better future. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, everyone's favorite mayor, Jerry Smith. I mean, oops, Mayor Bill de Blasio. He reminds me of Jerry Smith from Rick and Morty. That's all. So, Daniel, you're going to love this. Gestapo tactics. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio blasted after saying police should warn and threaten people over hurtful behavior. Oh, no. New York's Mayor Bill de Blasio has stunned Americans by suggesting that cops should confront people at their homes if they have been accused of hurtful but non-criminal acts. Many are asking exactly how that would work in practice. Even if something is not criminal in case a perpetrator being confronted by the city, whether it's NYPD or another agency, and being told that what they've done was very hurtful to another person could deter people from offending others, de Blasio told reporters on Thursday. So how do you implement it? What is this, the Ministry of Truth? Political police? Is this the Imperial Inquisition?
Demerits.
No, wait. Dare I say, the Imperial Inquisition at least has something like, hey, you're kind of screwing up.
Don't try and moralize the Inquisition. That's not the right time. But this is exactly what we covered when we did the Kentucky story. It's the same idea. Cops cannot be talked down to because First Amendment doesn't apply. Also go to jail.
Hold on. Here's another quote from Jerry Smith. I mean, Mayor Bill de Blasio. If someone has done something wrong, but not rising to a criminal level, it's perfectly appropriate for the NYPD officer to political police to talk to them to say that was not appropriate. And if you did that on a higher level, that would be a crime.
If you did that.
The mayor continued before concluding, very suspiciously, if I might add, if an NYPD officer tells you or shows up at your door to ask you about something you did, it makes people think twice. So, hey, can we get the camera on me? Can we get the camera on me real quick? So if you did something wrong, always keep an eye on your door. The thought police, the Inquisition, everyone's out to get you. And it looks like we're all going to jail, folks. Everything that you ever said mean. Even when you burp, even when you fart outside, even if you stub your toe and you swear, that might be offensive to somebody or something. Because, hey, let's face it, apparently we're all thin-skinned now. I don't know what's wrong with
I just want to
Jerry
say
Smith.
real quick, Kit, when he says it's going to make you think twice, I think he's right. It's going to make you think, isn't this a free country? Did I get that wrong? Did I get the brochure? Did I read it incorrectly when I got my citizenship? Was that wrong when I was born? Was that? I don't know.
Well, this is on the border of true tyranny. It's like, okay, I believe in free speech. This is something I fundamentally believe. And look, there are people who I disagree with, but I'm not on board with that cancel culture or deplatforming people. Now, is it true that Twitter, Facebook, YouTube are private entities? I get it, but they're not publishers. That's the thing. And now we have an elected official, Mayor Bill de Blasio, who's in charge of New York City, a large metropolitan city, mind you, who's basically saying, well, the police have every right to knock on your door and confront you and say, you said something hurtful. And the thing is, too, think about how this could be, if this was truly implemented, Craig Fiorella, I could accuse you guys said something mean. And there's no proof. Where's the proof?
Well, this just goes right along with what we're talking about, the increasing surveillance state and the increasing censorship on Americans through the excuse of, oh, we need to protect our security, or we need to protect Americans from themselves. And this is the thought police. I mean, this goes right along with what we're talking about against the national security state. It goes from the bottom up and the top down. You can look at the national security state being in charge as the bosses of the police state. People like de Blasio are simply the peons that are going to enact this and then to push the police to do the dirty work themselves. This is why when you are fighting the police at a state or a local level, you are actually also engaging in that at a national level. And when this happens, you have to think, oh, well, perhaps we must start fighting back more physically, more of in a direct action sort of way. Because if we don't, then it's going to encroach upon us in a way that a lot of people don't see it. We have many of our progressives talking about fascism when it comes to, neo-Nazi groups or these white supremacists, domestic terrorists. That is what the mainstream media is calling them. But when it comes to cryptic fascism, it is much more difficult to spot. People like de Blasio are pushing that sort of idea. They're pushing that right now in this very moment. And it's scary that not enough people are noticing just the little bits and pieces of how this is moving right along, and how even they're taking it to the point of where we're talking about pre-crime. They're talking about if without you having done anything, you could potentially be suspect of something and you will be confronted for it, even if there's no proof of you doing anything at all.
Yeah, it's funny because you said that, and it was like there is a little pre-crime sprinkled in here where they can say, if you do this any worse, if you fart louder, sir, we're going to arrest you over here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the line.
I can't help it. I have a gas problem, officer.
I'm sorry, that's offensive. Go around the corner in the farting zone. Too. It's pizza that does that, right? But I mean, coming from a guy like Mayor de Blasio, I mean, once again, and I'm glad, Kit, when you started this whole section, you were wagging your finger, because that's what it is. They like to wag their finger right here. Wag your finger. How dare you talk about people like this? If you do this anymore, we can arrest you. I mean, this is just looking for problems.
Sir, the way you wagged your finger was violence. And Daniel,
yes.
Are you going to say some violence now?
I'm about to say some violence. So, Craig, I'm sure you remember a little bit in your early life of being in New York. I'm sure it's fleeting, but if you can pull a little bit out of it, were the police, like, when the crime happened in New York, is it like 100% solved and they just have a bunch of spare time? Because it seems to me that even applying this just on a fundamental level, ignoring all the arguments that we've already made, the police are already not, like, what is it, like murder, like 75% you get away with?
Yeah.
Like, it's all the way through. It's like, but no, instead of spending time working on that, I'm sorry, ma'am, I was gonna look at you're looking at your son's death, but that guy said some mean things to me at the tape line. I gotta go focus my time on that. So are we really gonna have cops spend their time on this? And are we going to pay them overtime to do the paperwork to spend their time on this? And by the way, I can't think of a situation where certain cops might, I don't know, abuse the system greatly and then be like, I'm just doing my job. Now open your door. I'm going to kick it down. I don't have a warrant, but I don't need one. You said mean things to me. That's enough.
Yeah.
Also, I left a crime scene. I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Especially coming from a guy like de Blasio, too, as well. When we're talking about he's implementing this kind of stuff. This guy has more campaign finance scandals than any other mayor I've ever,
but
he
who's
makes
really in charge, Pasta? Is it the cops? Is it de Blasio? Where is this order coming from? Where is this desire, this need to police people more? It is because people are at a point where there is going to be civil unrest. That's why the Capitol 6 riot was the perfect situation to continue pushing the increased, bam, like security, because people are poor. People are desperate. People are angry. And when the population is like that, they lash out. So they know that this is happening. This is coming straight from the people at the very, very top, because there's so many of us. All it would take is for a certain percentage of us to come together and be like, you know what, that's it. And that's what they're scared, because they're not giving people what they need. So what else are they going to do? Is they have to shut down your thought, shut down your speech, shut down the control, shut down your privacy to make sure that they can quell any sort of dissent.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny if you really think about it? Because China is the next upcoming global superpower, that America is so terrified of losing its first place role that we're just simply becoming China to try and keep up. Except we're not, ironically, unlike China, which is building infrastructure, which is educating its people, which is doing all these things that we should be doing. We're just not doing that. We're just like, no, 34% of our economy should still be tied to financial services. That makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, look at this. This is giant virtue signaling on a mass scale, and I think about who's really going to buy into this stuff. We're so divided as people. We talk about general strikes. We can't have it because everybody's so divided. But I think about this particular thing, and you hear about all the Asian hate out there. Stop the Asian hate right now. And this is somebody saying, "Well, I'm going to stop that right now." And we have a big group of society people we know from back in the days and stuff. You know what I'm saying? We used to kind of define them as neo-progressives who will buy into this crap and say, like, at least somebody's doing that. Somebody needs to put the foot down. Big Brother needs to come in there and tell these people. And now he's going to use the police force for a change and tell people to stop these racist people from speaking up. You know what I'm saying? But once again, it's just a lack of nuance that people will buy into, because this is just complete authoritarian tyranny, as you said so. And,
I think as a final note to this, and if we can get the camera on me real quick, this is a concern that all of us should have, and I don't care what your political affiliation is. This is the thought police. This is censorship at a very max scale. And the fact that you have such a prolific mayor of a large city, New York City, which is a very large metropolitan city, saying like, hey, the New York police have a right to knock on your door and say, hey, you said something offensive. There will be people who will be cheerleading this on, especially with the aftermath of January 6th, as Fiorella has brought up, as Craig Craig has brought up, and that will be used as cover because then it's going to go after the people that they don't like, but little they know that we're all on that chopping block. This is why we need to protect independent media. This is why we need to have free speech, and this is why we got to organize. But don't ask these politicians, stop hero worshiping them. They're not heroes. They're people. Yeah. People that have a lot of flaws, but our society is trained to assume that they're going to look out for us, but they're not.